Audubon 2456.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 3 of State of the Save. My name is Eric. Thank you guys for listening. It's a beautiful Wednesday here. A perfect Wednesday. Quotation marks all around the Wednesday. I'm not here alone. I'm here with my little buddies here. Nick, tell us what's going on.
Hey, it's Nick. Thanks for having me.
Michael, do better than Nick on his intro.
Hi, happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm still reeling about that taco I had yesterday because it was Tuesday. It's because today is Wednesday.
That tracks.
Yep.
Yes, here on the Wednesday.
You can't disprove me.
Yes, I mean it's a beautiful Wednesday. Let's just up top. Let's talk about some business. We had some great responses to the first 2 episodes. Lots of listeners, lots of positive reviews on iTunes. If you have not yet, please do rate us on iTunes. Leave a review. Follow us on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast. Remember, we are the #1 podcast on Pocket Cast.
That also cannot be disproven.
Cannot be disputed because no one on Pocket Cast listens to podcasts to tell us otherwise. I do have one listener I would like to do a special shout out to. We have a German listener, and I do not know how he found us. We're still kind of an upstart podcast here, but we have one German listener. And if you are that German listener, please write in the stateofsave@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. You don't even have to have something I can read on the show. I just want to know how you found us.
Danke very much. Willkommen.
See, I'm not going to do that because you're going to be mad at the way I say it and you won't listen anymore. So I'm going to just say, hey, man, good to see you. Good to have you listening.
I got an A- in German in college, so I know very few words, but the only full sentence I know how to say is, Woher ist der Biergarten? Where is the beer garden? So I am all set if I end up in Germany.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that listener right now is shutting us off because he's like, they're just saying, where's the beer garden over and over and over again. Sir, I apologize. That's not what I was trying to do when I brought you up. You too can write into stateofsave@gmail.com. Sorry, that email address is going to bite me in the butt for the entire time we have it. Just write in. Tell us what you feel about Alan Wake, how you feel about the podcast, how you feel about video games in general. We'll read it on the show. We'll talk about it, and we too will answer your comments. Let's go around the horn. Let's talk to everybody. Nick, who's very nervously looking at me. Nick, tell me what's going on. What's going on in the world?
All right, not much. I've been playing Alan Wake, but other than that, I have been playing generally just some stuff that is kind of like junk food games, just kind of shut my brain off and,
Those are the best kind of games right now. Like, the world's kind of stressful. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's nice to I'm just going to play this game that I'm not really that invested in, but it's just going to make me, pass time and not think about anything. I, too, have been playing a lot of junk food kind of games.
For sure. Not to mention that, playing Alan Wake, this is not, the worst offender for these types of games, but, playing Alan Wake is kind of like watching an episode of Breaking Bad, mm-hmm. where it kind of just, takes a toll on you. Mm-hmm. It's a deep cut 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games where, you play it, and it's just oh, okay, well, I've been affected during this gameplay. But I've been sticking with some teamfight tactics.
Okay.
League of Legends auto chess. They ripped it off of the dudes that did the Dota auto chess.
So just a rip-off of a rip-off of a parody.
Exactly.
Okay.
Does this game do anything different compared to the other auto chess games? Because I played Dota Underlords for a bit. Are they all kind of the same thing? If you play one, you play them all?
If you played one, you kind of get the grips on most of them. The names are different for the classes.
Gotcha.
If I want to say that the Teamfight Tactics will have a more in-depth item building system, whereas I haven't played either one in a really long time, but mm-hmm. Dota, you get items, but it's not super imperative to victory. Mm-hmm. Again, I haven't played that one in a while, so But yeah, it's kind of the same. I haven't played since Teamfight Tactics came out, so pretty much changed. I think they changed with the Battle Pass, which is kind of interesting. So you're not using the same team comps every week or every time they release a new season.
That's a cool thing to do because Battle Passes are, they're still a fairly recent addition to video games in my mind. Like, been around for a little while, but the idea of a Battle Pass actually being like, this season is completely different than next season instead of just, hey, here's more skins and unlocks.
That would be more appealing for me to actually dive into one of those rather than just, as you were saying, skins and like weapon mods and everything. Like changing up the meta every season sounds very interesting.
Like I'm gonna beat this dead drum because Apex, but Apex adds something to the map with a new season and stuff like that. But it's not like Apex now plays completely different. So that's a cool concept of being like, hey, this is a new season, new teams, it's almost a new game at that point. It's like a sequel each season.
Yeah, it's like everybody kind of starts with the new season on the same playing field because they've changed the skins of the heroes, which in their lore is giving them different like traits and stuff. So what one hero used to be a Imperial, this hero is now a Celestial in this season, which gives different traits and different boosts depending on how many you have in your team.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is this one on mobile?
It is, yeah.
Huh.
I think that one's fairly recent, but it's like 1 versus 8 or whatever. 8 people, but you're kind of doing Battle Royale style where you fight one person and then the last person who is alive wins.
Is this kind of like a good iPad game?
I would definitely say better for the iPad or like a tablet, better than that for your phone, just because there are a lot of things that you have to click and like find out. It's a little easier if you've got either your mouse or like a bigger area to touch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I always forget that the iPad is a valuable gaming machine. Like I have one, but it's just like I don't think I can play video games on this also. It's just a weird thing. I think it's just an age thing. I didn't have it when I was younger, so now it's like, video games exist everywhere now.
The big wake-up call for me that iPad was a viable gaming platform was when I saw Knights of the Old Republic was on there, and I went, okay, I guess they can do anything now.
You can play Knights of the Republic on your navigation system in your car. Like that's like Doom.
That's true.
They just stick that on a Roomba, and you can just drive around and play Doom. I mean, it's the same thing. Anything else you've been playing?
Other than that, I actually beat Minecraft Dungeons last week.
Oh, man.
It's kind of strange because it is a game that seems to benefit from its like replayability. But as soon as I beat that game, it completely I was like, okay, well, I'm just done with this now.
I never think of those types of games as having like an ending. When I think of like those type of games like Diablo, I just think of like replaying quests over and over and over again. I never thought you would actually roll credits on it at some point.
Right. I mean, that's what I figured, which is why it's kind of weird. Like, you get to the end, and there's, like, not really any in-game content or anything. And you can replay. There's, like, a New Game Plus, but when you start back over, everything is still unlocked. So it's just like, okay, well, I could just go back to the end again. And it just didn't really grab me for a second run. But
Gotcha.
It's still pretty fun. I would definitely recommend it.
Are they going to have additional content to kind of flesh that stuff out later down the line? I mean, Minecraft is still getting new content, so I imagine this would as well.
Yeah, so I do know that they've already got a DLC in the works. I'm not sure what that entails, but I do know that they're still doing like small patches, but it doesn't seem like anything super, groundbreaking has been added since the release.
Mm-hmm. If it's anything like Minecraft, that thing's going to live forever. Yeah. I mean, that game still gets random updates and is still very supported.
Yeah.
Michael, what have you been playing?
So the Nintendo Switch had their summer sale a couple weeks ago. So I grabbed Sega Age's Phantasy Star, the original Phantasy Star from 1987, reworked.
What's that game like on a legitimate internet connection, unlike a little router that's running through your phone?
Oh, no. This isn't online at all. This is the original Phantasy Star RPG for the Sega Master System.
I just jumped to online. You went
If you wanted me to talk PSO2,
no.
I can talk PSO2 if you want to.
I made a mistake. Fall back.
Okay, so I grabbed that, and then more Sega. They had their ridiculous Sega Classics collection, originally $30 for 50 Sega Genesis games.
Oh, man.
It was $11.
Ooh.
So I got all 4 of the original Phantasy Star games and a bunch of other games, Sonic 1 and 2. It's weird that they don't have 3 or Knuckles, but they have 1 and 2. They have Alex Kidd. They have the 2 Shining Force games for the Genesis. So I'm all
only one
set.
that matters, do they have Golden Axe?
They have Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3, which was originally a Sega Channel exclusive.
You don't see the smile on my face. Here's the thing. I've been looking at Switch recently. I have a reason to buy something coming up in the next little bit. And I don't care about any of like the modern Switch games. I'd rather play them on like an Xbox or whatever. But boy, do I care about having like all these classic games, like where I can sit in my bed and play Golden Axe.
It's absolutely worth it. That collection, there is a little bit I noticed, because the only one I have in my physical collection from the 50 is the 2 Sonic the Hedgehog games. And I have noticed Sonic feels a little heavier than I remember, but then I'm pretty much gotten used to the latest mobile version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
That's just quarantine weight, man. Don't be making fun of
So Tails has put on a few pounds. That's why I can't pass any of the bonus stages. But there might be a little bit
That's the reason why
Yeah.
you can't pass them.
Exactly. There might be a little bit of input lag stuff going on with the original Sonic games. I haven't noticed for any other games, but that's probably because it's not as big a muscle memory for me as the original Sonic games are. But I haven't noticed it at all with Decap Attack or Comic Zone or like Virtual Fighter 2. A fighting game, if I don't notice a lot of input lag with a fighting game, then it's probably okay. But it's just those original
You say
Sonic
that,
games are a little
though,
rough.
it depends on how much work they did per game. Like, that's something that is kind of like the hidden killer of those, like, packs. Because you look at them and it's like, oh, man, I can get all these classic games. But if the job of bringing it over isn't right perfect, if it doesn't feel right, and some of it's memory. Like, I remember
the nostalgia
games.
factor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember games more. Like, I played Contra recently, and I remember Contra feeling different than it actually is. It was just it's just, you know, nostalgia and all that stuff. But if it's not brought over dead on perfect, it doesn't click, and it's
want
noticeable.
to say that they use the same emulator for all 50 games. They didn't like prioritize different emulators for each one, so that might be the problem. But it's absolutely worth getting for $11. So even if a game doesn't play right, you're like, oh, that's okay. Shining Force is a turn-based RPG. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of input lag or not there.
That's a true statement. Like, it could be a situation where it's like, hey, these games are going to feel fine, and then we're going to have a couple fall through the cracks. But at the same time, I would say that the Sonic games are probably the ones you shouldn't have fall through the cracks.
True.
You know?
And Sonic 1 has the famous glitch that was in the original version of Sonic 1, where, I don't know if you played that recently, the spike bug, the very famous bug where if you land on spikes, Sonic doesn't have recovery frames. So just keep bouncing on those spikes until he dies instantly. You'll lose your rings and then get hit again and then die.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's almost an instant death, those spikes. That has been fixed in every other version of Sonic 1. But so if you want to play the original version of Sonic 1 as it was on the Genesis, this is a good place to play it. But there's 1,000 other ways to play Sonic the Hedgehog 1 at this point.
I'm about to say, like, yeah, that's the original way it was, but
Yeah.
is that the way you actually want to experience that game?
The best way to experience those games now is definitely the mobile versions that Chris Whitehead did, because he was the lead director of Sonic Mania. So he took those games and had a bunch of new features like the spin dash and everything in Sonic 1. So he did a lot of work. And I will say about the original, I won't take up too much time talking about the original Phantasy Star, the Sega Ages version. They did a lot of good work on that version. I never played the original, but like there's something called Ages mode where they half the random encounters and they double the experience and the money that you get from those random encounters. So it very much makes going back to a RPG from 1987 a lot easier. But I definitely say play with a guide, because like all of those RPGs, those were made for, hey, call the Sega hotline. So I found online the script that they used for the Sega hotline and was using those. Like, okay, in order to fight Medusa, I need the mirror shield. stuff like that. Yes, Medusa is in a sci-fi fantasy RPG.
I was really hoping that you were going to be like, so I called the Sega hotline, and there's just like one guy in a cubicle somewhere.
He's like
who's
the
still-
Heaven's Gate dude.
He's the Heaven's Gate guy. He's just still holding down the fort at the Sega hotline. Like he's just probably in his 60s, just sitting there waiting for somebody to call, and you were the guy. Anything else you've been playing?
The DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Isle of Armor dropped, and I've been playing a lot of that. I beat the story, and now I'm going through and catching all of the Pokemon that are there. And there is 100 Diglets on this island that you need to find. And the more Diglets you find, you give them back to a guy, and he'll give you Pokemon with really good stats. And one of them that I'll get later on is a Poplio. I really want that Poplio.
What is he planning?
Yes, that's right. What's he doing with 100 Diglets?
I do not know, but he says, these are my Diglets. I'm like, okay.
So he had 100
Maybe
Diglets.
maybe they're hiding for a reason, guy. I don't know.
Or you're helping a crime.
But I'm getting a Poplio in the end.
Oh, okay, the complete justification of re-kidnapping these Diglets.
He's a seal with a clown nose. I mean, I need that.
At that, we move on.
Yes.
I've been playing a lot of stuff. I'm just going to kind of be real quick. I played through Modern Warfare 2 Remake. That's a game that I enjoy a lot when it first came out. Not much to say about that. It's that game, just slightly prettier. But it was a nostalgia thing for me. West of Dead.
I was about to check that out, yeah.
West of Dead is interesting. It is a... I have not yet figured this out, but it looks to be Mike Mignola art. If it's not, it's the style looks dead on like his. If you don't know who Mike Mignola is, you will know his character Hellboy. Great comic artist. Worked for Marvel, DC, and then when he did Hellboy, basically that's when he spun out, and that universe just continues to this day. The art looks just like his stuff. The game's art style fits his stuff. I don't think it is, which means somebody ripped off Mike Mignola.
Well, so that's crazy because now that you say that, it does look a lot like that, and got Ron Perlman in it.
Ron Perlman,
Crazy.
So someone could say that maybe somebody watched Hellboy and said, "Let's just make a cowboy Hellboy," because it also takes place in Purgatory. So some could say this is a ripoff, and Mike Mignola, you need to contact your lawyer. But it is a good ripoff. It's a third-person dual-stick cover-based shooter, very much like Dead Cells. If you like Dead Cells,
Kind of roguelike, light-ish, whatever that definition is.
Run-based. There is a story, but from what I can tell, the story is kind of obtuse. Starting off with 2 random weapons you pick up as you leave the Purgatory bar.
Gotcha.
Work your way through. The only issue is the thing that Dead Cells does so well is the moment-to-moment combat feels great.
Right.
So you don't mind dying and going back because it feels good to play. This doesn't feel as good to play.
Gotcha.
That's the only thing that holds it back. It's a great-looking game. It's a great style. Ron Perlman's a good voice actor for this. It's really good. But it doesn't feel as good to play as like a Dead Cells. So it's a little bit harder to recommend. Definitely check it out. It's cool. It's a good game, and it's on Game Pass. It's on
that's where I saw it last.
Steam. I think it's on PlayStation also. Might be on Switch. But it's a really, really cool game. I would suggest checking it out, especially if you like Mike Mignola. I like Mike Mignola a lot. But, boy, somebody really, really liked Hellboy. And then I've been playing The Messenger.
Oh, that game is awesome.
The Messenger is awesome. Oh,
That was like my favorite game of last year.
Yeah, The Messenger is great. Everybody should go out and play The Messenger. It is the old Ninja Gaiden NES kind of games if it had like an extremely sarcastic sense of humor. It's just a really, really fun game. And I love, it's funny you were talking about retro games because I love modern day versions of retro games because they feel like how they should have felt when I was playing them as a kid.
Yeah.
Like how they felt to me as a kid is how these games feel. So like
that was the big appeal with Shovel Knight when that came out. Like everybody's like, oh, this is what you think a Nintendo game feels like nowadays.
Ion Fury is a game that I played recently. It's kind of like a modern day Contra. A game that's just got a sequel announced, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. It's like a modern. It was like a very much like an NES style Castlevania game.
Symphony of the Night.
No, this was the one that was more like the original NES.
Oh,
Castlevania.
gotcha.
The other one was Blood.
Ritual of the Night, Curse of the Moon was actually a Kickstarter reward.
Yes.
That game was made as a Kickstarter reward, and everybody was like, oh crap, this is amazing.
Yes. And see, so like those kind of games where it's a retro game but made today, it just feels like what you imagined as a kid. I love those kind of stuff. Messenger was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing through that now. Yeah, it's some really cool stuff. And while we're on topic of random video games, y'all see that Cyberpunk stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
What are you referring to?
they did a live stream. Now they pushed
didn't see
Cyberpunk
that, yeah.
was pushed back, which broke my heart. But they did a live stream of kind of some reveal, some gameplay footage, stuff like that.
That first trailer they showed didn't do it for me at all. I was just like, well, because I was very much into like the kind of darker vibe they kind of set up with like the initial reveal they did and everything, and this seemed like a less off the wall style like GTA or any type of open world thing. I'm like, this is not exactly what I want for Cyberpunk. But once they got into the gameplay, I'm like, okay, we're good. We're okay.
Yeah.
I was worried for nothing.
I love this kind of setting. I'm a big dark future. Like I like Warhammer. You want to talk about some Warhammer? We'll talk about some Warhammer 40K. But I'm excited for that game. I continue to talk about it relentlessly, but it's just because it's like I am one of the people online who was like, we were only 91 days away till Cyberpunk, and then they're like, it's back to November now, and it broke my heart. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on in the world of video games. But there's one particular video game that I think we all played.
What's that?
Alan Wake.
I was
Thank
gonna-
you, Nick, for playing along. Michael did not help me at all there.
I was gonna say Pokemon Cafe Mix.
Not at all.
I don't even want to hear about that.
Let's talk about Alan Wake.
Yes.
Once again, you should have played through the rest of the game. Chapter 4, 5, and 6. So, obviously, spoilers for Alan Wake. The podcast that says we're playing Alan Wake has spoilers. What a surprise. Kind of a refresher for last time. Chapter 3 ends with Alan going into the water. There's a mysterious hand that reaches down, grabs Alan, pulls them out. I'm sure there's a pretty cool song because most of the songs in this game is pretty good. And Chapter 4 opens with you waking up in the therapy lodge, which I called because if you listen back, I want to say that
Check
I
the
was
tapes.
right. Check the tapes. I was right. The doc is back, and he's the one who pulls you out of the water, or either him or one of his little goons.
Yeah.
Starts off, Alan wakes up in the therapy lodge. He's been told that he's had a psychological break, that he's created this whole fantasy world in his head, and you get kind of a walk around of the lodge with Dr. Hardman.
Yeah,
I believe his
Dr.
name?
Hartman, yeah.
Hartman.
There's a lot of Easter eggs during this part. Like, if you go to the room across from you, you'll see a Night Springs video game, an Xbox 360, and a poster for Remedy's first game, Death Rally, on the wall.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's also some self-hate for video game guys because there's a video game director guy who's in there who's had a mental break, and they're like he played too many video games. Look at this loser, and it's just kind of like, boy, there's some self-hate here on Remedy. Somebody's had a lot of long nights and just feels like this is the world they live in. We run into the Rocco Grandpas.
Yes.
Oh, I almost texted both of you. I was like, they're back.
I had to refrain from that, too. I was so excited to see them.
When they pop back up, because that was the only thing that bothered me about this game. I was
exactly.
like, these two amazing heroes are gone from this game. But boy, is Chapter 4 just all about the Rocco Grandpas.
Turns out, credit where credit is due. They are hardcore. They live that life. They're not just hanging out in diners wearing leather
An
and eye patches.
Asgardian-themed rock band.
I want to tour with these guys. These guys are my new spiritual animals. as you're walking around, obviously, and I've seen this before in like psychological thrillers and stuff, where they're like, hey, this is all in your head. What are you talking about? And he's trying to convince Alan that none of this is real.
And there's a reference that Alan's like drugged too. Like he says, like the drugs Hartman gave him are starting to wear off and everything.
That motion blur during the day really adds to the effect that you've got drugs.
Completely intentional.
There's a couple of times when you see live action Alan, I believe, in this segment, or that might be later on a couple of TVs. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, so you make your way through the facility to where you're outside talking to Hartman basically alone. And then once you make your way back inside, you do get a couple glimpses of those like FMV type things. Interesting thing, when they are outside, Thomas Zane statue outside.
Yes.
Yep. I
Initial
saw that.
TZ.
Yep.
Yeah.
From a friend.
That was pretty good. This game continues to be very smart.
Yeah.
Spoiler for this game, I like this game. Barring one particular thing that I don't like about it, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
As you go back out, you meet Rocco Grandpa's. Then lights go out. There was talk of a storm coming when you were outside, and you could kind of see it off in the distance. Of course, we know lights go out, things are going to go bad.
Yeah.
You kind of learn that throughout the facility, the inmates, or not inmates, but the therapy patients are starting to kind of act up.
Yeah.
It leads the doc kind of away from you, and you as Alan are kind of left in your room, kind of, left there to, hey, just hang out here until we get everything under control.
Do some therapeutic writing.
Yeah, do some writing.
And once the lights go out here, it's kind of like, it's very much a tonal shift. Like, I don't remember the exact context of it, but I wrote down that a couple of the guys knocked a nurse out with a hammer.
That was Thor. Thor got himself a hammer, man. Which, my question is, if you have a guy who thinks he's Thor, why do you have a hammer within like 20 yards of that man? Somebody needs to do a hammer check every day.
Yes.
To watch out for hammers. Things are going bad throughout the place. You can tell like the patients are starting to act up. We know it's the dark entity. We also Alan the whole time doesn't quite buy, like, he doesn't instantly buy into this is in his head. He keeps it. He's like, nah, this is real. He has some doubts, but he doesn't ever do the thing that a lot of movies and stuff do, where like, maybe it was.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll just listen to. No, Alan's like, screw you, man. I know. I've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
When the lights go out, you start moving through the facility. You're not armed at this point. You do find like a flashlight. You're trying to find Barry, because Barry is in the facility somewhere. I believe there's a manuscript that says he came to visit. And at this point, you're starting to kind of realize that Hartman knows about the manuscript, and that he's in on this. He knows that there's a manuscript. He knows what's going on, basically, and that he's just trying to convince you to kind of make it easier for him to get his hands on the manuscript, and that the kidnapper is associated with him. That he's an employee.
Mott, yeah. You read that in a couple of the manuscript pages.
There's a weird manuscript page about the kind of the goon of Hartman that refers to how mad he is that Alan has a hot wife.
Yeah, that is strange.
I think I missed that one.
I think, it's also like a common thing for Mott as well. It's just like,
they're both very...
He's dead on it.
Yeah, they're both like, and his wife just looks mad. Yeah. And it's just kind of weird and out of nowhere. Also, there's a tape at one point that Alice is talking to Hartman on that you can listen to. Alice doesn't come across great on that tape, because you realize this was all a trick to trick Alan out here. And, that was something we kind of defended Alice on the first episode, about like her being like, hey, why don't you write while you're out here? I kind of have a different feeling on it now that I know that's like the whole reason she brought him out here.
And that like she reaches out for like medical professional help instead of taking him on a vacation and just so bringing the typewriter with her.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm a bit 50-50 on it, just because in that tape she does make a point of saying, well, this is from her perspective as well, but that she says Alan's too deep in his own problems and that she's tried to reach out to him, but he's just not listening, or will just like give her the silent treatment and stuff like that. So you can kind of see from her perspective why she needs to get help, why she Trojan horses the vacation into a therapy visit is another thing entirely. But
yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, yeah, that's what depressed people love the most, being tricked into therapy. To me, Alice doesn't look great in that moment. But then again,
Alan doesn't look great in a lot of moments
here. Then again, it's a ward full of crappy people, except Barry, who we find, Barry, locked in a closet, I think. I think he's locked in the closet.
Yeah, Hartman locked him up.
Hiding behind the standout.
Yeah, hiding behind the standout, which he takes with him.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. Barry, ever the marketing guy, he's like, listen, this is going to waste here. Let's get this thing back out there. Barry's pretty good at his job. I'm going to get back to this in a little bit, but Alan's out there. Like, people know about Alan pretty well. Barry, pretty high-quality agent.
Yeah.
If someone out there would like to be a representative of this podcast, kind of like Barry, I'd be okay to talk to you.
You have to wear a puffy vest like
Barry. And wrap yourself in Christmas lights.
It's the only smart one in this game.
Yes, he really... No, I have some feelings on Barry coming up.
Yeah, okay, fair.
You know, at this point, you find your way into Hartman's office. You confront Hartman, I believe, in this office. Basically, long story short, the gig's up for him. You know that he knows. Now it becomes the part where we try to escape the facility, and one of the worst puzzles in the game, in which at the front door there was a giant ball that falls, and you have to trick the ball into
busting open the door.
But what's the worst thing about the combat in this game?
Dodging.
Yeah. What do you have to do to that gigantic ball? Dodge it. It was, I did not enjoy that at all. Anything else about inside the facility you guys want to talk about?
I did like the manuscript page saying Hartman was using his patients to join up with them as a producer. So he seemed like the type of person, if you ever read Mad Love, the Harley Quinn origin story, she's just trying to use her patients as a way to like get rich, and that's kind of what.
Yeah, she's writing papers on the high quality Arkham inmates.
And that seems to be what Hartman's doing. He's not doing it to help people. He's doing it to get rich.
Which kind of makes sense, because he's a therapist to like the rich and famous, and because even like the grandpas were like high end heavy metal rockers. Like he's not doing this to me and you. He's doing this for the fame, the glory. He's like a Dr. Phil. He's kind of that kind of shady. When you escape and you get outside is one of my favorite kind of areas in this game, because it is a pretty cool trying to escape the grounds, because you go into the maze.
Right.
And the maze is where first death by combat in the maze for me. But I got jumped by
Look at me. I'm
so good at video games. The ladies are always very impressed. But the maze, it's a Shining ripoff.
Yeah. It's a good Shining ripoff.
Yeah, it's a good Shining ripoff, but it's a Shining ripoff.
Yeah. Complete with dudes with axes and everything.
Did you guys get lost in the maze?
No. I was trying to explore every dead end just because I figured there would be like ammunition and manuscript pages there, so I made sure to like explore that entire maze.
I don't play video games like that. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I try to think like Alan, but I didn't. Like the maze was kind of like straightforward. Like I found my way through it pretty easy, which is good for a video game. I don't want to spend 20 minutes in the dark wandering around a maze being like, okay, so I took a right and I took a left. I don't like mazes in real life, much less in video games.
It was just enough to be kind of a puzzle, but not long enough to get like annoying and just make you want to go to the next thing. It was well placed, I thought.
And you fight the muscle at the end of it. In a fight with him and some bards. The bards suck. If they could go back and remake this game, just the bards need to go.
Yeah.
This is when Barry really lets me down. So we get to a point in which there's a gate blocking our progress, and Barry has to find a key to get us out. Barry has one job. We are holding off just a wave of guys.
It's this horde.
Just dropping flashbangs, firing shotgun shells. Barry at one point gets very excited about finding a quarter.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, now is not the time, Barry. And I said that out loud in the middle of the night at like 11:30 on a Tuesday night so everyone can hear me. Barry, now is not the time. And he just continues to do this stuff as we're just fighting for our lives. Also, gates are the greatest threat to all video game heroes.
That's true.
Is gates. Gates will just shut you down.
And slow elevators.
Anyone
Yes.
who played Destiny knows about gates blocking your progress and hoarding off waves of enemies.
Also, Axe Guy, the guy who we had to fight, the little mini boss, is the guy who wanted to bang Alice. So
Yeah.
good for Alan for putting that guy down. Barry making jokes. This is literally what my notes say. Barry making jokes. We should be damn worried about the gates. is my feelings on the matter. We finally do get out. We get out of the gate. We get in a car, and we have another car wreck. Car wreck number 2 for
Yeah.
Alan.
Now you know why Alice drives everywhere.
Yeah, now we know
Beginning of the
why.
game.
What exactly causes him the wreck? I don't even remember.
Something. I just know he I think they were trying to dodge something and just ended up rolling off the mountainside.
Yeah, I think there was a guy on the road or something, or a vehicle.
That sounds right.
Yeah, but Barry somehow is he thrown from the vehicle because Barry's not with us.
Yeah, he's on the ledge below you.
Oh, okay.
You get out of the car. I think Barry was thrown from the car, and he's you're up here, and he's down in the valley of the mountain.
Yeah.
And you're walking parallel with each other because when he lights the flare,
You can
you
see
see the
it.
flare.
Yeah.
And he straight up says, "Don't worry about me. I got this. I'm from New York."
There is another joke about New Yorkers. There's multiple I'm from New York jokes, and just those that irritate I get so mad with those jokes because it's I'm from New York. Have you rode the subway, dude? There's possessed people with chainsaws. You got bigger problems. I've rode the subway. They ain't possessed people with chainsaws on the subway, at least not often. So yeah, I don't care, man. They've got problems. Barry holds his own though. Barry's walking his way through the woods. There's just a lot of combat here. And, thing we forgot to mention. The reason where we're going is we're going to the farm of the Rockers.
Yep. Odin and Thor's farm.
farm.
They cracked the code.
Yes. They told you they cracked the code right before the lights went off. Also, there was a point in which I swore I could hear them as possessed people inside the maze. And I really, really did not want to fight them.
Yeah,
I was just not Odin. not it's the moment in The Walking Dead where the little kid zombie shows up. It's no, don't shoot the little kid zombie. It was Odin and Thor. I was no, don't make me fight Odin and Thor. Anything but that. But we're walking our way to their farm, and it's a lot of combat going through the woods. Mm-hmm. At this point, there's several sections of the game that's just combat in the woods.
Yeah.
I think in a modern day game, you would have less of this.
I would hope so.
That's the one thing that I think drags this game down or shows its age.
Sure.
Is the amount of we're in the woods and we're fighting people now.
Yeah.
Because that's not what the game. It's not its best when it's doing that, and that's
Yeah.
why one of my issues is coming up when we talk about that.
Yeah.
So we'll just we'll go through the woods. We're walking our way through various issues to get to the farm. Now, I like what happens when you get to the farm because we get to walk with Barry. Because we also run into the drunk guy. There is a car that we see at one point in the distance driving away from the farm.
Oh yeah.
That crashes, and we find him in a cabin that he's drunk, and he's been stealing the hooch. Of the Rockers.
Made with the lake water infused with demon possession.
Yeah. So that's how the Rockers have been interacting with the spirit ward or whatever. They've been drinking the hooch, which is the most metal thing in the world. But he's been stealing the hooch, basically.
Right.
Even if there wasn't possessed monsters in those woods, I would not go out in the middle of the night to that freaking farm to go get hooch.
Right.
There's no hooch in the water, bro. But it's kind of weird that he's there. Because there's not a ton of reasons for him to be there. We find him in the cabin. There's a live action video in the cabin.
Yep.
And then there's some attacks at the bottom of the cabin when we're leaving the cabin.
Well, in that cabin, we also get, this is where Alan has the revelation that he wrote into the story so that he could save Alice, and he writes that Zane is his guide to help him.
Yep.
So there's a lot of revelation to happen in this cabin. This is where all of the puzzle pieces start coming together.
You can tell there's been about a week and a half since I played this.
In fact, most of our lingering questions are answered by the end of chapter 4, meaning like 5 and 6 are mostly the climax and like getting to where Alan needs to be to resolve the game. So most of our lingering questions in 4 are answered.
4 is my favorite chapter.
Absolutely. It's the best part of this game, bar none.
As you walk your way to the farm, there is my favorite moment in this game. The Rockers have built themselves a stage.
Yes.
And it is the most metal stage in the world. And it is also, if you've ever played, I believe, Left 4 Dead 2 has a moment just like this.
Yeah, there is
in which you hold off on a rock stage and you set off pyro. Oh, man. I had so much fun. And it makes so much sense because it's all pyro. It's light. You're killing things with light, so you're just setting off pyro. And Barry is just manning the controls, firing off fireworks. Oh, man, when you get to that scene, it made me so happy. And the music is great. It's
basically Black Sabbath.
It's an actual band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found it on Spotify. In the show notes, I think for this episode, I might put the 6 different songs that are in this game. I might put the notes in there because there's some really good ones.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And like this one is a pretty baller song.
Yeah, this is one example of like the combat arenas in this game that is actually like satisfying, because there are tons of resources. You're not alone. So Barry's flipping on spotlights, which heal you. They will straight up just knock the shadow off of all the taken in this area, so you can just turn around, shotgun right there.
There's a ton of ammunition. Like you're just pumping shotgun shells and throwing flashbangs. This is very much needed.
This is where you get the high-powered lantern too.
The big one.
So
that
it
is
just
imperative to the end of the game with those crows, man. It will knock the crows out.
Yes. This is it's a very satisfying moment because so far in this game you'll be running for your life, and this is that moment where you're like, just bring it on, man.
Yeah.
Just rocking out, shooting dudes with a shotgun, and Barry yelling "rock on!" Oh, it just made me so happy. Literally, my note for this is "rock on, man, rock on." And literally, my second note right behind it was "best chapter ever." Chapter's not over, but I was so excited about this chapter.
An achievement glitched for me 10 years ago because after the rock show I got an achievement popped, and that just made me mad going, I was raw 10G 10 years ago.
Yeah, I received one achievement this entire playthrough because I got them all the back in 2009, I guess. But we also, after that whole rock show finasco, you and Barry kind of walk your way through the farm. I like walking with Barry. Like, it's fun. Barry's dragging along the stupid stand-up.
I love the bit where you hold the left stick in to look at him, and he's holding the cutout in front of him, and he's talking as the cutout to you. It was just such a good moment.
It's great. We also, this is when we finally walk our way inside of the farmhouse. We get the record that the Thor and Odin, I guess it's their song, about the Lady of the Light, which is basically Alan's next cue to where he needs to go.
Yeah.
It's a cool little moment. And then we get the fun scene of, okay, it's Alan being smart. It's dark outside. Let's not go back outside in the dark.
Right.
I do question the good idea of getting drunk by a fireplace that that could go out.
Yeah.
And plus, also, it's not like these guys can't get close to you in the light. Like they get pretty close anyway.
Right.
But whatever.
I'm not gonna keep my wits
These two
about
had
it.
it rough. They needed a moment like this.
But they get hammered, man. They get hammered off of the lake water
Lake
hooch.
water hooch, unfiltered.
Man, and Alan has a vision. In the vision, you get some more live action Alan, I believe. You get a lot of Barbara.
Yeah.
This is also where we get the revelation that Zane was what got you out of the
lake.
The lake.
Yeah.
That he's the man in the diver suit, and he's the one who kind of pulled you out during your week of, isolation while you were writing the story to make the darkness strong enough to come into the real world and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, because you're seeing the first night again through a first-person perspective, so you're watching what happens from like the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool moment.
Yeah.
You see what happens from a third-person perspective of the night that Alice just falls into the lake,
Right.
or it gets taken into the lake. Nightingale.
The return.
The triumphant return of Nightingale ends the chapter with us waking up to a gun in our face and Nightingale.
Yeah.
How did he find us here? Who knows? Why is Nightingale's deal? Who knows? Should we care? Probably not.
So I wrote down all of the major plot points that were revealed at the end of this chapter before going into 5, just for my sake. But at this point, we know Alan wrote the book. Jagger wanted the story to make her more powerful, so Alan writes himself to escape. Mm-hmm. He writes Thomas Zane to help him escape, and then Zane takes the book.
Yes. Yeah. Zane is basically what happens if Alan fails. In my
Yes.
mind. Like Zane failed to defeat the darkness when he was writing the story, so now Alan's trying to not fall into the same habit or the same situation. You wake up hungover in a jail cell in the beginning of chapter 5, the clickle.
So you know immediately, okay, that's coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back. Well, we knew it was.
We knew it was, but like, yeah.
Yeah. There's a straight up "you're out of line from the sheriff when Nightingale shows up. And there's a manuscript page that says Nightingale's just thinking about shooting you inside of the
in the cabin, yeah.
Inside
like
the cabin.
He's just like second choice, I guess I won't kill this dude.
It's very like charged.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I could just do it right now. What has Alan done to this man? Tell me what, because then here's a spoiler, the darkness takes Nightingale.
Right.
Just like he shows up, he disappears.
So my theory is that he's reading these manuscript pages, he sees the end of what's going to happen, and it's directly because of Alan. So this entire time, he's trying to stop Alan. It's the baby Hitler thing.
Okay, sure.
No,
but why is he there?
I don't know if that's true because Nightingale starts to figure it out because a manuscript literally falls and he's like, wait a minute, this is exactly what's happening right now. And then he's taken at that moment.
Yeah. Why is he, Nightingale is the only thing about this game that does not make sense to me.
I wonder if those are the pages that are gated by difficulty.
That would
One
suck.
thing I didn't do is go back and read those pages.
That would suck.
I thought about looking them up, but
Yeah.
I forgot completely about that.
I don't. If it is, that's a bad choice. I mean, I should know what Nightingale.
Gating collectibles behind the hardest difficulty is just a bad choice in general.
He's the only character in this game who I can't tell you what his motivation
Right,
is.
there's no, he's not fleshed out in any way.
No. He exits just as fast as he shows up.
Right.
I like the sheriff because she's like, yeah, weird stuff is going on. Like, she sees what happens to Nightingale. She's not like, you gotta stay in there. She's like,
"Let's go."
you seem to know about what's going on. Lets you out. We've been to the police station before, so we can navigate the police station fairly straightforward. We know what's going on. In the middle of all of this, Barry talks about ordering a pizza. Once
Classic
again, Barry.
Barry.
Absolutely Barry.
Who would deliver a pizza in the middle of all of this?
30 minutes for it's free.
That seems like Barry would complain about that. Barry's that kind of guy. At one point, Alan is, because the power is knocked off, and she sends Alan to bypass the control box. How does Alan know how to bypass a circuit breaker?
He's a handyman.
No, he's not. He's a writer.
He's turning on generators all over Bright Falls.
I can turn on a generator, but I don't know how to bypass a breaker. Yes, you can turn on a generator. You pull on it. It's like a lawnmower, but not bypassing a breaker. He electrocutes himself, but it works. And then we have a cool moment where basically, the sheriff's like, there's a helicopter. Because Alan knows where he needs to go. He needs to get to the Lady of the Light, which is Cynthia.
Right, Cynthia
Yes.
Weaver.
Cynthia Weaver. And the sheriff knows where Cynthia Weaver hangs out at, which is a abandoned
Power
power
plant, yep.
Which I'm interested in.
No,
Yeah, why the sheriff doesn't take more interest in that, I don't know. But she's like, okay, there's a helicopter. I'll get you to the helicopter. And this is the scene where we fight our way through the town.
Yep.
How y'all feel about the town scene?
You fight 2 sets of birds on the roof, and that isn't fun.
No. And, I will say this. Sheriff's a killer shot.
Yeah.
She's downing fools like crazy. Her pathfinding, not so much. Because at one point, there's a deer float. And she gets stuck on that float. And I spent 10 minutes slowly pushing her off the float. And to the point that I tried to progress the game, wouldn't let me. I just kept pushing her. Eventually, I got her off that float.
Yeah.
Really kind of broke the immersion there for me. But it's a cool scene. Barry's hanging back at the police station, and you and the sheriff are walking your way through. There's an old man who complains about the noise, and how does that old man not know something's up? Like, there's a gun battle in the middle of this little small town, and he's just like, those darn kids again.
It's the day
it's Deer
before the
Fest.
Deer Festival, man.
Yeah, but empty streets, gun battle. I live in a fairly active city with some of that stuff. When I hear gunshots, I usually get concerned.
It is 3 weeks almost before the 4th of July, and I've heard fireworks every night on my street.
So
every night for the last 3
They're
weeks.
shooting in the air in my house.
look.
So, but I get concerned.
Exactly. Deer
I get
Fest, bro.
No. But I'm not just hanging out the window and be like, y'all kids. I'm like, oh crap, bullets are flying. That really bothered me. But my favorite thing is, as you walk through the town, it is a fun little combat sequence.
Yeah.
It's a fun part.
Better than being in the woods.
Yes, a lot better. It's more interesting. Like, there's
Yeah.
a part where you go into a church so that all the candles are lit.
Yeah.
I wrote that, surely nothing bad is going to happen here, but you pretty much just walk through.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. I thought something
I
was
was
going
like,
to
The
happen.
little
this is gonna be
catacombs
bad.
down there.
Well, this guy.
There's a guy,
couple-
but it's
there's a
not
couple
like
guys.
something like crazy happening.
Yeah.
It's like,
The game doesn't really drift into like horror, like monster horror. Like, it's
Yeah.
usually people. So I knew there would be guys down there, but
Right.
yeah, there's not like a zombie or anything. It's just people.
Yeah.
You walk your way to the helicopter, which is right outside town. Apparently, the sheriff knows how to fly the helicopter. There's a point in which you have to hold out so the sheriff can start the helicopter. Barry hops into the helicopter. Barry does not stay outside at all.
He's
to
not
try to
shining
help
any lights
you.
today.
He's not trying to help you at all. Also, why does the sheriff know how to fly a helicopter?
that's fair.
Yeah, and why does Barry, like, what's Barry doing in there? He's not helping. Barry's not, like, running the checklist and being the co-pilot. He could have come out and at least flashed the flashlight at a couple
Turn
of guys.
on the little lights out there.
Keep him in front of it. Just turn one on. But no, not Barry. I got real mad at Barry at this point. But it's a pretty good fight. It's a cool fight scene at the helicopter. It's the holdout moment.
Sure.
I did not do this encounter right. I didn't know that at some point you had to run to the helicopter and press B. I was waiting for a cutscene to happen, so it was just spawning endless waves of enemies that were just killing me. After like 10 minutes, I was like, oh god, this is
Don't
the
they
worst.
say, like, multiple
there's
times?
Yes.
Get to the chopper.
Yes, they do. On my 3rd time, I was like, oh god, I'm an idiot.
Barry is also wrapped in Christmas lights.
It's wonderful.
Oh, there's a bookshop in the town
Yes.
Yeah.
that's covered in Alan Wake stuff. Alan hasn't wrote a book in years.
They said the sheriff, I don't know if this is just like a thing that she says if you hang out in the bookshop for a while, but she says that they're really pushing they're really pushing Wake's presence there to like drive book sales.
Yeah.
And that explains why there's so many cutouts of him around and it's plastered all over
I
town.
get that.
It's all a ploy by the bookstore to sell more copies.
I get that, but I know a little bit about retail. You don't just hang around all your posters and all your stuff for 2 years. Like, it's not like I can just go to the back of the shop and grab all my posters from 2 years ago. I feel like they've just been pushing Alan Wake books for
Maybe
2
they
years.
just borrowed it from Rose.
It's a small town. They probably she probably knows the printing press guy by name.
That's true.
Rose isn't giving up her Alan Wake stuff.
She might just have a lot, though.
She's not giving it up though. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. As you finally get in the helicopter, you start going out to the power plant. There was no reason in the world why that chopper can't land on top of that power plant.
Right.
She acts like there's no spot. Helicopters hover. You can literally land them on almost anything.
Maybe she's
That's
not
why
an
they're
experienced
helicopters.
pilot.
You can fly the thing, but you can't land it.
Cover it.
I mean, I feel like that's part of helicopter school. Like, that's why the military like fly those things like on top of little shacks and stuff. Like, that's the purpose of having the helicopter. But yeah, you have to go down in the middle of the dark instead.
Of course.
Right after you get off the helicopter and like go past the bridge, they put this chapter's Night Springs episode in the worst possible spot because it's hard to hear that episode. I have subtitles on, so I was good, but like the turning bridge and everything, and there's like activity going on outside. You're like, there's so much going on. I can't focus on this TV show.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch the Night Springs episodes.
They're pretty interesting. And then there is an Easter egg in, I want to say, the chapter before, where it turns out that Alan is a writer for Night Springs.
Yes.
Oh.
When you're in the farmhouse.
The barn.
There was one point in which Barry's like, "Hey, I remember when I got." Once again, Barry's a pretty good agent.
He's pretty solid.
Like he's pretty solid. So he got him a writing gig on Night Springs. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, and it was apparently not like an episode that like Alan was real proud of. But this is a pretty cool sequence. There's several moments in which the helicopter is like chased off by birds, but there's also moments when the helicopter is like supporting you, like they're hitting them with lights.
Yeah, and you're running through.
Or you're running through with the light. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Alan walking with people.
Exactly.
Like the game's combat works really well when you're walking with somebody.
Right.
Because they don't just stand around; they actually help you.
Yes.
So it actually feels like your companions actually matter.
Yes.
So I wish Alan had somebody with the entire game. He had someone with him basically all of Chapter 4, and that's why Chapter 4 shined really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the bits where you're working with the sheriff and Barry are great because the dialogue all through all of that is really good. Like when Barry has the head lantern.
Yes.
The head lantern, and he's like, "This is my Eye of Sauron,"
Yes.
and it's just like.
Well, I like
wonderful.
also that Barry, like Alan's like, "Hey, can I get one of those?" Nah, last one.
It's the last one, bro.
Like,
Sorry.
Barry just didn't think about it. He just took care of himself. Like, but Barry is great in these. Like, and the sheriff's great. It's a ensemble cast. They write that really well. Like, it's really good. There's a rotating bridge segment that I do not like much.
Yeah.
It just feels very disorienting. I get it's supposed to, but it wasn't disorienting in a fun way.
Yeah.
There's a point in which you get to a scissor lift, and you have to use a scissor lift to go up. And I don't know if you've ever seen the YouTube video of the drunk guy going down the road in a scissor lift. And he, like, every time the cops try to get up there, he just goes up. And I just couldn't get out of my head this drunk Alan on top of the scissor lift, like, oh, not today. Going up. I don't remember much about that video. It might have horrible stuff in it. I'm sorry if it does. But I just remember this drunk guy on a scissor lift going up and down, and the cops trying to get him. I think they bring the fire department out there to get him down. But yeah, man, it was some really fun stuff, and you eventually work your way to the power plant. Mm-hmm. The power plant, the combat at the power plant, I don't enjoy.
Yeah, that was very irritating.
Yeah, it just doesn't strike me as
This game where your entire, defense against the enemies are your flashlight and dodging. To put it in a confined space where there is electrocution, if you touch this thing, you're gonna take like a quarter of your health bar away. It's kind of irritating.
I fell down more pits in this power plant section than any other part in the game, especially the bit where you're running on the bridge next to the dam.
Yeah.
And like as it's collapsing behind you too.
Oh, that's later on in the chapter.
Yeah,
but that part killed me like 5 times because at one point I thought the game glitched.
Well, so that's what I did too, and I was just like, do I just outrun this? But there's no cover.
There's no cover, but there's also a point in which it takes out like one of the walkways.
Yeah.
And you have to use that jump button.
You have to use the jump, which is not a good jump.
No.
Right.
And the game doesn't make you use it enough to get good at it.
Yeah.
So, like, I kept thinking, do I just need to move faster? Is this timed? Like, I was really confused by that. But that's a little bit later in the chapter.
There's also that puzzle where you're like turning on you're turning off the power to the power plant.
Yes.
And the bridges that just go back and forth, and it's a timing platforming puzzle.
Yeah,
in this
I got
game.
lucky. I got lucky with that though. I
did the
killed
same
that
thing. I was like, okay, touch this one. Oh, okay. Touch the second one, and it's like done.
Yeah, I did that.
I always get lucky with those.
Yeah, I got real lucky on that. There's one in RE2 Remake. There's one that you have to use little chess pieces, and it's like a riddle that you have to follow, and I suck at riddles, and so I remember I spent 20 minutes just like, and this goes here. It was just I just brute forced it.
Yeah.
Like I usually hate those things, but that thing worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
You meet Cynthia. She lives inside the power plant because she's scared of the dark.
Right.
You also realize that Cynthia had like a little thing with Tom. Like she was kind of
so it's
like
kind of alluded to in the earlier chapters, but
Yeah, you see her writings on the wall that
Exactly.
says, I see you on the TV. And
Is
she
she-
even says that Tom is still speaking to her in that TV.
is she like the other woman?
Yeah.
I think so.
So,
So I
like-
think it's like plot of Thomas Zane's love life is Thomas gets with Barbara, they hit it off, got Cynthia Weaver on the side, like more of an admiration type thing for Thomas. Barbara
think-
Jagger starts getting taken by the darkness, and he realizes.
Okay, I have a question about the Barbara Jagger thing because we're
Uh-huh.
going to talk about that, about what triggers this.
Right.
But so Cynthia is not like the mistress. She's just like she wants Tom, but Tom is never like it strikes me as Cynthia is like that woman who never lets you go all the way.
Sure.
Like it's over, Cynthia. Move on.
Take your fluorescent markers and leave.
Yeah, leave. Stop showing up at my house at 2 a.m. But it feels like that's what she is. But now she's vindicated because Barbara's evil.
Exactly. I told
It's
you,
just
bro.
kind of a weird way of pitching it. Oh, the mistress was right all along. So it's a weird love triangle. My wife's gonna listen to this and get real angry. What do you mean the mistress was right? But yeah, so Cynthia sends you right back out in the dark when you get there because she's kind of a jerk. But then she's talking about the well-lit room. And she's been holding something on for you at the well-lit room her entire life. And you're supposed to follow her, but you hear the helicopter go down.
Right.
Now, I have an issue with Alan here. I know why you go back out in the dark, because it's a video game. But I'm like, dude, bigger things are at play. Go get the freaking well-lit room. But you go out to go save your friends.
married.
I'm sorry, if you guys crash in a helicopter, I'm probably going to keep moving in that well-lit room.
Brutal.
But you go out there, and there's a really cool moment in which they're making like a last stand at the chapel with like the sheriff and Barry over there fighting it out with a bunch of dudes. That was a cool moment. You show up at the last minute to help them out. This is a cool chapter too. Chapter 5 is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of fights in the game. You eventually get Barry and Sarah to Cynthia, and then you get locked out of the power plant. Like the door slams in your face or something like that, I believe. Isn't there a point where you open like a gate?
Oh, so they get to the elevator and then conveniently something drops where you're not able to get on the elevator.
Classic.
You have to find a second route around.
Classic video game.
Yeah.
Alan can't catch, and this is where that bridge scene takes place.
Yes.
Which is I think is on top of the power plant,
Yep.
and is
It's on the dam.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's on the dam.
exactly.
Yeah, on the top. Yeah.
Damn that dam.
It's like damn that damn. But man, that's a heck of a little journey that I did not like that part at all.
Yeah,
No.
so it reminded me of why I didn't like the combat with the inanimate objects, and it's because
the inanimate object. My God, man.
when you are firing at the Taken, they stagger, so it gives you time to reload the flashlight. But the inanimate objects will not stagger. They are just coming at you in what seems like an indiscernible time of shaking. Like I could never get that dodge down. I got all the other ones. The inanimate objects, I could not get that dodge down.
Flashbangs don't really work
They
that well
don't.
with
Yeah,
them.
the
Flares
don't
do
affect
much.
them either.
It was really at this point in the game where I really agreed with you last time when you said you didn't wish there wasn't as much combat. Like, I was like, okay, I've played enough of the combat. I just want to see the end of this story.
That's how
I
chapter
know we'll get
6
into
was for
chapter
me.
6.
Yeah, do I have a story for you then?
Oh, I can't wait.
Finally, we walk our way in with Barry and them, and we get to the well-lit room, and Clickle is what's in the box. And
Zane writes the page that summons the clicker.
where he
Exactly.
writes basically a page. He writes it into Alan's life.
And writes himself out of everyone else's.
It's a really cool. Zane is a cool character when you kind of start thinking about what he does.
Yeah.
Literally, he writes a story for Alan, so Alan has a Deus Ex Machina
Yeah.
to defeat the darkness, which is all about this. This game is about stories. It makes sense that that's how it's.
It
right.
works. It's not jarring. It makes sense
No, it
within
makes
the
sense.
context. Like, of course, it's a Deus Ex Machina. Of course, it's
And of course, it's
plot
written-
device out of nowhere. But the way it's written makes sense with everything we know so far.
Yeah.
Plus, Thomas Zane's voice is great, and I want that guy to do audiobooks. Because when he was reading that page, I was just like really relaxed and going, "Ah, this guy
But it's like a relaxed kind of scene that he
And you're in this completely lit up room.
Yeah, it's very safe. Everybody's looking around.
Yeah.
There's a portion in which they show Sarah, the sheriff, smiling, and that model was creepy. Oddly enough, the male models in this game are pretty good. The female models not so much. Sarah's face when she smiles and stuff looks weird.
Yeah, a lot of the Alice stuff too.
Yeah, Alice the same. I have a moment in chapter 6 in which I couldn't tell if Alice was supposed to be possessed or the model was bad. Also, man, the song at the end of this chapter was good too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. There's so much good music in this chapter.
I listened to the whole song. Like usually I'll give it like a verse and a chorus, but for I think chapters, the last few 4 or 5 and the credit song, I gave it the whole thing just because they were so strong.
Chapter 6 is my least favorite part of this game.
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely agree with that, sadly.
I am torn with that statement.
There's cool stuff in chapter 6.
The good in chapter 6 is really good.
Yeah.
But we'll get to some of the frustrations I have.
Yeah, the good part of chapter 6, I guess, is that the payoff is real. Like it's like it ties it up so well.
They don't drop the ball on the story.
Right.
But chapter 6, let's get through it. I like this game. I like this game a lot.
Exactly.
And I think that's why it kind of bummed me out.
Yeah.
This was the only chapter that... And I think to compound it, I played all the other chapters in this game at night, in the middle of the dark.
Yeah.
I played this chapter at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a nice sunny day.
Right.
Maybe I just wasn't in the headspace. But also, I didn't like this chapter.
It's a combat heavy chapter.
I wouldn't go that far as not liking it. It's the weakest part of this game. I still enjoyed it. But
Game chapter opens. Alan's back in New York. Always drink water when you're drinking, boys and girls. Drink some water. Keep yourself hydrated.
Just pace yourself.
I like that the beginning of this is get rid of Alan's hangover.
I can't remember who says it, but I wrote a line that was like, "Parties are a part of this business." I'm like, you write books.
Oh,
No.
yeah. So there's a scene where you're watching yourself
Yes.
FMV cut on a talk show.
That's where that
But
quote is from. Okay.
It is though. I mean, if you've done creative stuff, it's all about networking.
Right.
Oh, right.
So he's got a point actually, and I don't want to argue with Barry. Apparently, he's a pretty good agent.
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
I do agree that it is kind of because he's networking.
Oh.
He's getting himself in front of the right people. That's how you get on talk shows and stuff. You have to talk to the right people.
Gotcha.
The talk show sequence is pretty fun. Live action Alan in that sequence is just Ross from Friends.
The talk show host is
He went
unbearable.
from
he's terrible.
Jake Gyllenhaal in a poster to Ross from Friends. I mean,
And he's not even he's terrible on that show. And I know he's probably supposed to be, but still.
I wrote this interview is trippy and reminds me of a Sega CD game.
Yeah.
It's almost more unsettling than the Night Spring shorts.
Yes.
Yes, because he laughs ha ha.
And then there's 3 seconds of dead air.
Yeah.
He does the thing where he says something aggressive and he just backs off and goes, "Ha, I'm kidding. Look at me. I'm laid back and stuff."
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yes.
I did.
I kept waiting for a darkness thing.
Same.
Right. Well, it seems, honestly, at that point, it kind of seems like it is kind of like a red herring. Because you're watching this and you're just like, oh, okay, well, there's that.
Because Alice is mad at him. He's like, "Oh no, this interview must go south. It must go terrible." And you watch it and go, "That's it. That's not so bad."
Well, Alice also comes in and Alan jumps all over her. I literally my nose, Jesus, Alan, calm down.
I mean, that's an interaction that would inspire a phone call.
Well, she comes in, he jumps all over her. She doesn't even really seem that mad.
Yeah.
She's just I was mad this morning, but I'm over it. But Alan's just what's your problem with me? You don't think I'm a good writer? You don't think I'm a good husband? It's calm down, man. Jeez.
Well, they do eventually get to a point where it was calm after that.
Yeah,
but it felt like a real argument. Everybody starts up here, and then it kind of calms down. They go, "Well, what are we doing?"
It calms down. That's how it works. Everybody calms down.
Everybody calms down.
And then that shows that basically he's tired from the road tour, and they're going to go on the vacation. I guess it's a couple weeks maybe before the vacation.
Yeah.
Well, I know that because it's right before the launch of Alex Casey.
Oh, so it's 2 years.
So it's been 2 years. So they're planning a getaway, and I guess he's been so burnt out on writer's block
Yeah.
that maybe they he didn't want to go on a vacation because he says that he becomes emotionally detached.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is the breaking point for
I
that.
get
The
you.
2 years of just constantly going, I need to write something, but he's just not getting anything
Yeah, he's in
done.
his head.
There is a cool cameo in that interview. Sam Lake, the creative director, and the voice of Max Payne is in that interview. They're like, up next is Sam Lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. When you come back into the game, big ass Verizon sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want you to know about Verizon.
We got TiVo and Verizon back to back in this.
Yes, just back to back.
I was like, oh yeah, TiVo.
Verizon paid a lot of money for that freaking spot. You're leaving to go to the lake. Sunny day. Darkness changes time because it shuts off basically shuts it to night. When you go through the tunnel, you go into the tunnel. Does everyone perceive that, or is just Alan? Like, is some dude in the town just like, man, it got dark real quick? Like, that feels like a little bit beyond what the darkness should be able to do.
I don't know. There's I don't even remember who says it, but it might be the sheriff, where they're talking about Night Springs, talking about how Bright Falls is such a strange place that they joke around that is what inspired Night Springs. So it might just be like weird brushed off phenomenons that they're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess this just happens here.
I can brush off like a light in the sky, but I can't brush off. I can't brush off like a Daigum, straight up. Hey, it's 12 o'clock in the day, and now it's freaking dark as anything.
What state did they say this was in? It's not Alaska, right? Because that'd be a different thing if it was that.
I think it's supposed to be in like Washington State.
Yeah.
That's right. Never mind.
I don't think it ever says, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
like
it's, like,
Oregon,
specific.
Washington State. That's the way I take it. It might be Maine.
Right.
I don't know.
I remember it not being Maine. I think they say it in chapter 1, but I remember thinking it was weird that it wasn't Maine.
Yeah, I agree. Boy, this is when we start combat. This
Combat
is just a
and
fight.
driving.
This is when you
crux of
see
this
this
chapter.
is an open world game.
Yes.
I feel like this was a very deep in production part of the game. Because this is an open world driving game.
Yeah.
And there's cool stuff in it, but boy, do they not do a lot with it. There's like a creepy hotel at one point.
Right.
You can storm right past that hotel.
You find Nightingale's room there.
Really?
Oh, I missed
Oh,
that.
you missed that?
I missed that.
You find Nightingale's
Does
motel
it explain
room.
Nightingale?
It's trashed. No, it does not. But you see it's trashed. I was expecting more there, but you see an FBI jacket hung up. You see, I think one of Alan's books there. But Alan just makes a statement going, I guess this is Nightingale's room, and it's just trashed because I guess he's obsessed with the case or something.
Oh, either that.
It just goes to show that Nightingale was such a wasted character.
I would love to talk to somebody from Remedy.
I think
and just be like, what's the deal with Nightingale?
I think in order to find that place is a key. You know what's probably there? There's probably a couple of the difficulty gated manuscript pages in there probably.
I'm sure.
Because there's half of the manuscript pages in this chapter are gated by the nightmare.
Yeah,
difficulty.
which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But there's a bridge fight with more junk.
There's a stretch through a wooded area, stuff falling down.
Which one time kills me 4 times. There's
Yeah.
a portion of the train rolls down the hill.
Yep.
And I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. I
just
kept
let it
trying
roll.
to. well, I tried to run past it. It would hit me. I tried to
Yeah.
find a way. It was hitting stuff and bouncing up. So I was like, should I wait till it hits a rock and run underneath it? Eventually,
Yeah.
I've found my way to just run past it. But
Right.
I just there's some fast guys you got to fight.
Several, which is the worst part about
they
this
suck so
combat.
hard, man.
I had a bunch of flares and flashbangs, so I was just throwing
That's
them
what
one
I did
through one.
too.
I'm like, I'm done with this. Just get it over with.
It's the one point in this game where, on normal difficulty, I ran out of ammo.
Yes, I saw it because, and it wasn't even because I was dying or struggling. It was just so many
There was so
freaking
many
dudes.
I think at one point, 7 dudes spawned. It's
Yeah.
just any more than 3 is just infuriating.
And also, the game breaks this rule of guys being there for a reason. Because
Right.
I bragged on the game about that last time. Where even at the power plant, there are power plant employees that you're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense why people are where they're fighting.
yeah.
At this point, they fall from the sky in debris.
It's all different models.
It's all different models. It breaks a lot of its rules. This really bummed me out, and it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. And if it wasn't for the game having a really solid ending, I would probably feel pretty down on it. But it's just a lot of fighting, and then we get to the lake, and there's the water spout of the evil lake.
Yeah,
and we hit it with some flares.
That part was pretty interesting. I mean, it's you get to stand in front of it and shoot the most powerful weapon of the game at it over and over again.
I would have been okay if I did it once.
Did you get hit by a bus?
No.
And knocked off a platform? Because that's what I did.
Well, I did once. Yeah. I did once. But I'm saying I would have been okay if I just ran up and shot it with the flare.
Sure.
Because the game teaches you that the light is very powerful.
Yeah.
And I get that this is like the darkness at its peak, but it's a flare. That's been devastating to the darkness. And it just feels weird to be like a rule of video games have that rule of 3 where you hit something 3 times. It was that. It literally, I think it was 3 times you hit it. So I felt like that was really video gamey. This whole chapter felt video gamey. There's not a lot to talk about in this chapter. It's just a lot of combat. Am I missing anything? Before we go into the ending.
Yeah, the tornado final boss felt like something out of Control. You guys haven't played Control. That reminded me of some of the encounters that you.
That
go
bums
through
me
with
out because
Control.
I want to play Control. Please tell me Control's not.
It handles it better. Let me rephrase that. It handles most of those things.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll play Control here at some point.
Yes, we will.
But yeah.
Okay, so I got nervous for that.
I will say one thing that I liked with the combat structure in this game. There is a bit during one of the driving sections where there are possessed cars chasing you too. I thought that bit was pretty cool.
Like a big monster truck. Yeah.
Why does that pop up here? I feel like if this was still an open world game, that might have been a problem.
Yeah.
You would run into those out in the world.
Right.
But I feel like crap. We've made these things.
Yeah.
Stick them in because it's a very well done enemy that I feel like the game should use more. So I feel like that maybe is a Remedy. I would love to talk to somebody from Remedy just to ask questions like, was this left over from the open world? What survived the cutting process? Because there was stuff from the open world that had to get cut.
Yeah.
I wonder if a lot of this is stuff from that.
It feels
this
feels like a last track. You would be on the opposite edge of the map. Going to the final destination. Every major open world games, I know all the Grand Theft Autos do it where you're driving through the entire open world to get to the final section, and this was what this felt
like. The Witcher does that, where it's you ride that big ride to go fight at Calamore or whatever. It does that. It does feel, and I think in an open world it would feel a lot more impactful because you would feel like this is the moment,
But a lot of the world, because they divided up into different chapters, feel separate and disjointed from each other. So there's no real connection driving through all of the places that we've seen because we've never seen them placed one after another this before.
When we get to the lake, we destroy the evil entity there, and then it flashes us to New York. This is where I didn't know if Alice was possessed or a bad model. It's both. But you wake up in bed with Alice. Alan's clothed all the way, so that should have been a heads up that's, hey, buddy, was it what you think? Alice is clearly possessed. The house is possessed. And you're kind of walking your way to get to the clicker. It's just like a last-ditch effort by the darkness to try to distract you, and it's Alice telling you everything you want her to tell you, as you're going through.
It's the darkness addressing the fact that this is gonna happen. He is more powerful than I am at this point.
Yeah, it switches tactics.
Right.
It goes from brute force to, hey, Alan, I'll give you everything you want instead. You get the clicker, and then it flashes you to under the lake because Alan jumped in the lake.
Right.
This is a cool scene.
Yeah.
Because the wards that Alan's types you scan them with the flashlight and it turns them into the objects.
That was such a great
That's
moment.
That's
so cool. I wish there was more of this in that game.
It was. That was a cool moment. That's why I turned back around on the game.
And there's either an audio log or something you get or a manuscript page, and it's literally you are typing that exact manuscript
Yes.
page, and it's voiceover.
And
reading
as
the
you
page.
scan them, it's just a good thing. When you get to the lake, because you're building basically the road to the lake house.
Right.
Yes.
When you get to the lake house, you hear Thomas Zane's voice and Barbara.
Right.
Here's what I wonder. I have questions, and maybe I missed something. Michael and you can tell me. Nick can tell me what I missed. But Barbara is tied to a chair. It talks about this. That Tom talks about cutting out her heart and she not having a heart, because when you get inside, Barbara has a big hole in her chest.
Right.
Because that's where he needs to put the clicker, because Alan says something like he needs to shine a light into Barbara's heart.
Yes,
Yeah.
because she didn't have one. He says something
No,
about like,
the lake's heart. But the
But-
lake being Barbara is one
yeah,
of the same.
well, Barbara and the lake at this point is the one and the same.
Yeah.
But Barbara's not talking to Thomas like a possessed person if you listen to the audio. Like, she makes a joke about thinking this is just kinky stuff.
Yeah.
That's
And, like,
right,
Tom-
yeah.
So does the lake come before Thomas and Barbara? Or does Thomas's actions with Barbara trigger the lake?
So I
read that scene completely different. I thought
Yeah.
that Barbara was like goading him on while she was possessed, is how I
Right.
interpreted it.
This
But
might be
that's-
just life experience changing in my mind. Like, but it's just the way. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so they also do another interesting thing in that scenario. They're drawing allusions between the pairs of couples here, where some of the lines that Barbara say are spoken by Alice, some of the lines that Thomas Zane say are spoken by Alan.
Yes.
They're going back and forth, kind of showing and comparing the two, and I got the same kind of feeling that Michael had there.
Yeah, it was just a thought. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm right. It was just something that kind of dawned on me, because they never really tells you. Like, it alludes to the fact that the lake has always been evil,
Yeah,
but I kind of wonder if like Thomas awoke in the lake when he did what he did, or I don't know. It's just thought. The
Yeah.
game keeps it vague,
right.
for smart reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, the vagueness of this is better than the straightforwardness.
If it was cut and dry, it wouldn't be nearly as fun to discuss.
No,
Right.
we wouldn't be sitting here asking this question. It was just
Exactly.
like, and this happened. So
Yeah.
I like that. You get inside, there's Barbara, big old hole in her chest. Alan, she does like a couple of appeals to Alan, like,
Sure.
you'll never get your wife back if you do this.
Yeah.
Alan sticks the clicker in the hole, clicks it, and boom, big old thing of light.
One of the coolest shots in this game
Oh,
is
yeah.
just
Yes.
light pouring out of her face.
Yes.
And then the cabin itself in
Yeah.
the same way.
And
So cool.
Alan's whole mission is to finish the book. And what I like about it is Alan makes a statement that the problem that Thomas ran into was Thomas didn't use the logic of a story. Thomas tried to fix everything, but he doesn't understand that in a good story there's consequence. Alan, it makes it sound like Alan's a better writer.
Yeah.
Because Alan's like, in reality, there's consequences to actions. There's good and evil have equal play. And so Alan doesn't write everything to be perfect. So it's almost like, because it's realistic, it gives a good ending. It actually fixes things.
It's not an easy fix, and that's where
Yeah.
Zane failed. I think he says outright, it has to be a struggle. It has to be a
Yes.
story.
It's like Thomas sat down and wrote 2 sentences that fixed the problem, and it didn't work.
Right.
Alan knew that it had to be a story. So Alan, like, and it's the whole thing of like Alan couldn't write a story, and he ends up writing this. You know,
Right.
it's on the nose a little bit.
The
but
universe saved his writer's block.
Yeah. Oh, he came out of his writer's block like in the most like amazing flat fashion. And you see at this point the kind of repercussions of Alan sets the clock back. There's a weird point under the lake in which Alan sees himself, and Zane talks about like almost like he's back at the beginning of the story, because he sees himself with the bandage on his head.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird, like, Zane's like, okay, we're back, we're at a circle now you have to reset.
Right.
And the clock even goes back.
Yeah.
Alice is saved, more importantly. Deerfest is saved.
That's true.
But, Alice comes swimming out of the lake.
So was that a clock turning back thing? Because we saw the sun and the moon going in reverse and everything. And when Alice emerges from the water, is that supposed to be like when we go over the mountains and Deerfest is happening? That's supposed to be later, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I do
I
want to
missed that
say
bit.
there is a like explicit like this is a time a clock rolling back the hands.
I
Yeah.
remember the explicit clock rolling back, but then it was Deer Fest, so that
Right,
kind of threw me
gotcha.
off because I didn't realize that was supposed to be
Yeah. I think
time.
that's what.
We fly over the mountain, and all of a sudden it's 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We don't see where Alice goes. We just see that she gets out of the lake.
Right.
Then we see kind of the characters of the story are now happy-go-lucky. It's almost like they don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
Except Rose, who is now holding a lantern.
Yep.
Almost like Rose is the new Lady of the Light.
Right.
And in the background, we see Nightingale, who's in the darkness. And I'm sorry, Nightingale does not do enough in this story to justify being the grand like darkness. He's just some dude.
Right.
Like he could have picked that old guy who hung out his window and be like, "What's going on down there?" It would have made just as much
Wait,
sense.
time out. That's Nightingale? I thought that was Alan.
No, that's
No,
Nightingale.
that's Nightingale.
Oh my God. That's Nightingale.
Yeah.
And Rose is standing
I had
there.
forgotten about Nightingale up to this point, so I was
Yes.
like, oh, obviously it must
Well,
be
like-
Alan. There's no one else it could be.
And Rose is standing there as the new, which alludes to the fact that means Rose plays the Cynthia role. So is Rose the other woman?
Oh.
The true muse is the other woman in this game. Somebody at Remedy is trying to pass along some information. I blew up somebody's spot at Remedy for 10 years ago. He was like, "Oh crap, they're on to me, Sarah." We see that Alan is still writing, and the game at the end of the credits does a straight up Alan Wake story will continue.
Yep.
Also plays Major Tom.
Oh my gosh.
such a good
So
match.
when they do the final line, he's sitting there typing. He is seemingly possessed at this point.
It's not a lake. It's an
It's an
ocean.
ocean.
Is what he's implying that he in the center of the lake is growing powerful. He's like,
Right.
oh, this lake is more powerful than I thought. I can do anything in here. Is
And
what
then
I
after that,
took that as.
cut to Space Oddity, and it just wraps up. Like, that is the best
So
music
good.
choice in this game. Where it's
Ground-
just like, okay, this dude is out there, and he is now a part of what is happening.
So I just made me so happy.
Yeah.
Ground control. Oh man.
I wish this game did more at the end to like wrap up the characters, like what happened with Barry, what happened with Sarah, and everything. I mean, we see them I believe we see them at the very end of this, but I wish we kind of saw the outside world more. But that's just a problem with games in general. They like wrap up; they don't really have an epilogue unless you're Metal Gear Solid 4.
Which got like 6 of them.
But I think more games need to be like Metal Gear Solid 4.
No.
I knew that would be a controversial opinion walking in here, that I'm going to stand up for Metal Gear Solid 4's 74-minute ending.
Before we do final thoughts on this, did anybody look up the Alan Wake DLC stuff?
So I did.
Tell me about it, because I didn't. I was going to play it. I said to myself, "I'll play this," but then I was afraid this is when we're going to get in inside baseball. That I'm going to get into like this weird thing where with all the games that we play that have DLC, Eric's going to have to play the DLC. I was like, "No, this is a bad idea."
So I didn't play it. I did look it up. It is a free add-on. So it's free 2 extra chapters or episodes.
Yeah, it wasn't free when it came out. I want to say were both $20 or were they $20 a piece?
So if you purchased Alan Wake, it was a free download.
Gotcha.
If you have it installed on your Xbox or at the time through like rental or when GameFly was a thing, if you didn't purchase it, you don't have a license. Basically, it's a $20 per episode tag.
Ouch.
Yeah.
They're like an hour and a half on how
Yeah.
long to beat too. So $20 for an hour is like
But now, pretty good deal because
the deal is free.
Tell me, do they pick up directly after Alan Wake?
I think that's the case. I
Yes.
went on the wiki just to see.
Right.
I didn't go into the story stuff because I figured maybe at some point we would revisit Alan Wake and maybe play the DLC since they are free.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a fun time, like maybe
Yeah,
around
okay.
Halloween time, being like, yeah.
Well, I have a Halloween game already.
Ooh.
Secrets.
I have a feeling I know what it is.
But yeah, I'm interested. So you looked it up also.
I didn't look it up, but I did. Like, I was on the cusp of just playing both of those.
I
I've
thought about
got
it
them
too.
installed. I was ramped up off the David Bowie.
Okay, let's do this because I have a Halloween game in mind. Maybe in the next few games we go back to that DLC.
I want to kind of...
Because I will play
Yeah.
it. I like this game. I think this game is
Yes.
great. Would y'all be interested in doing that? Not maybe in the next couple games, but
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I would
down the line.
definitely like to revisit.
I want to
that.
sit on this ending for a little bit
Yeah.
in my mind before we go right into it.
Yes.
Because I think that'll make it even more stronger.
And, like I said, with this game being on Game Pass, I don't foresee this game leaving Game Pass anytime soon.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe we do that in a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be interested in that.
I would absolutely love that.
Final thoughts. Sum up how you feel about Alan Wake.
This is a really great game. It's a game of the time, and it's absolutely worth playing nowadays. Knowing all of its flaws, this is not a game I would pay $60 for brand new. But for playing it on Game Pass for, I think it's like $15 now on Steam, it's absolutely worth that. This is a game that I think everybody should play at least once. And IGN, while we were doing this, gave their top 25 best Xbox 360 games. There was a lot of third-party games on that list, and the fact that Alan Wake was not on that list is criminal, in my opinion.
That's IGN.
Yeah, it's IGN.
Me and IGN don't see eye to eye on most
of
things.
the times, yeah, but because their number one game was Mass Effect Trilogy, I'm like, that's a cop-out. You can't do that.
do that. That's okay. You want to talk about some? They'll get mad now. EGM did the top 200 games of all time when they was still publishing a magazine. Mm-hmm. I love me some old school EGM. Mm-hmm. They didn't stick trilogies on there as a Digum freaking thing. Yes, that's ridiculous. Nick, final thoughts.
I would definitely agree with most of the stuff that Michael said. The combat in this game almost does it a disservice, just based on. I feel like this game almost could benefit from being like a point and click type adventure game where you're kind of in it for the story. The writing for it to be such an aged game it pays off. It holds up. A lot of the encounters that I had that weren't part of like a set piece weren't as interesting to me. And I think that if I go on to play more of this game, I would probably do it on easier difficulty just to see through the story.
My final thoughts is this: I would pay $60 for this game. I really loved it. Too much combat.
Yes.
There's a moment of the time. Too much combat. I want less combat, more story. But this is a game that holds up. I recommend this game. I've been recommending this game. I've been telling people, even if you don't listen to my podcast, please listen to the podcast. Play the game anyway, because it's a great freaking game. Alan Wake, we all seem to like it. Mm-hmm. We're going to take a little break here, come back with our next game.
Ooh.
Ba-da-ba-da-da-ba. Psh. Okay, and we are back. Man, that was fun. That was fun talking about Alan Wake. This was a great first game for us. So, first game's over. What does that mean? That means it's time to talk about the next video game.
Yes.
Because the train don't stop.
That's right.
Train don't stop for nobody. Our next game, Observation. This is a fairly recent game. Mm-hmm. I want to say it's an indie game.
Yes.
So.
If not, it's a small studio game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Recently popped up on Game Pass. Also is on Steam.
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What other locations is this game on? Does anybody know?
It was on the Epic Games Store. It was an Epic Games Store exclusive last year on PC, and then I think it was on the PS4 around the same time, and it just this past week dropped on Steam and Xbox Game Pass.
Right on. So it's fairly new, recent addition to all this stuff. It's a newer game. It's kind of cool if you think about it. Major Tom leads right into this. Man, we're just segueing all over the place. I'm excited about this game. I've never played this game before. I don't think any of us have.
Yeah, this should be a fresh one for all of us.
I think I remember Giant Bomb talking about it a little bit, but I didn't watch any coverage on it. So I have, and doing some research on it, scratching the surface of what this game is, but I'm excited to go in as blind as possible.
This will also be a one-shot. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a one-shot game for us because it's only about a 5-hour to 6-hour game at most. Mm-hmm. So the next time we come back and we talk about this game, we'll talk about the whole thing. It'll be a good palate cleanser.
Yeah.
For Alan Wake, and we'll do a longer game next time.
It's also probably a good companion piece to it too, because it is, from what I see, a also type of thriller, but rather in the vein of psychological thriller. This is more of like a sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
So this might be a good comparison between the two.
And we're not going to do just thrillers and things like that, but I think this is a good. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to do a one shot just because I think they're cool. And so many indie games right now are like that, so I think it'll be a fun one.
It's probably a good idea to like break up longer game sessions with shorter games too.
Michael, that's inside baseball.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't talk about inside baseball on the podcast.
Okay.
Instead, talk about give me some facts about Observation.
I'll give you some facts about Observation. This was developed by No Code, an independent studio from Scotland, and their leader, John McKellen, who worked with Creative Assembly for Alien Isolation and Rockstar for Red Dead Redemption 2, and he founded the studio in 2015. Their first game was Super Arclight on iOS, earning Editor's Choice when it released. And they began development of Observation in 2016, making a demo to shop around to publishers. And once they secured a publisher with Devolver Digital, they participated in the Ludum Dare Game Jam. If you don't know what a game jam is, it's basically they have like a set amount of time to make a game. Some really cool indies have came out of one of those Ludum Dare game jams, including Gods Will Be Watching. And they made a game called The House Abandoned, which was expanded into a game called Stories Untold, which released in 2017. Just to kind of get the studio by while they were funding and developing Observation. So Stories Untold was, McKellen says, was like a road test leading up to Observation. And not including demo and pre-production, they spent 25 months, so a little over 2 years making the game. And one thing I want to read this entire bit here from John McKellen because I think it encapsulates this game's development philosophy. Hope I don't butcher this as I read it. He said, "Years ago, I read an article about the original Alien film. It was an article about that film told from a different perspective of what the events of that film were like if you had the alien as the protagonist. And in that film, the alien goes around killing people and people try flushing it out of airlocks and that kind of stuff. But from the alien's perspective, it was just this creature that had been born in a weird environment, and then the crew started trying to catch it and kill it. And it kind of put a different spin on things. And I started thinking about, that really fascinated me as a story that I knew so well being told from a different perspective. So I started thinking about other films and other sci-fi tropes that we've explored a lot, but maybe not from certain angles. One funny thing about the game's development, in order to simulate the lack of gravity, the team would push around the animator on a bar stool around the motion capture studio to capture the feeling of zero gravity. And the game was initially going to be split into different sections. I believe that implies that it was going to be an episodic game at one point, but it was merged into one game once the pacing was figured out. And that's everything I could find on Observation. In the podcast description, I'm going to link the Game Reactor article where I got the interview quotes from and everything, because it's a really fascinating read. John McKellen seems like a really intelligent guy, knows his stuff, and it's a really interesting interview.
I don't want to do anything else on that game because I do want to go into it super cold. I like sci-fi a lot.
Same.
Most of the books I read are science fiction. Most of the movies I read are science fiction. So with this one, it seems like from my very passing knowledge of it, it seems to be very much a kind of a cold, hard sci-fi, and that's something I really enjoy. I think this is going to be fun.
I think so too. I'm really interested. Just reading that quote in particular about taking movies into different perspectives got me like, okay, I have a feeling I know what this game's philosophy is. And if that holds true, I think this could be really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was. It's pretty interesting that the developer, No Code. I was looking at another game, that Stories Untold. The House Abandoned seems like it's pretty cool. So I might check that out after we take a look through this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think One thing this podcast has done for me is it's also making me expand my gaming. It's very easy to fall into holes of 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
And especially now when you have all these access to different services that allow you to play a lot of these indie games for free. Or not for free, but you pay for a service.
Yeah.
It's almost for free. And that's kind of, if there's one thing this podcast does to help, is maybe push some of these smaller games to the forefront. That means a lot to me because, no one needs help getting the Halo games out there.
Right.
But games like this is where I think the genre is very expanding, especially with the amount of stuff going on in the world where studios might not be operating at full capacity. These might be the bulk of the games you see in the next coming years.
Right.
Because they're still operating. And I don't want people to be like, small games. What's the big deal? Keep playing Apex.
Yeah.
No, man, there's so many great little indie games, those small team games that are worth your time and worth your effort. And those ideas and experiences that are really worthwhile out there.
Some of the best game experience I've had this generation was shorter games, games like Fury and Battleship Brigade stuck with me a lot longer than some of the AAA 10-hour campaigns that I played recently.
It's the indie movie or the indie, I like comics. It's the Image comic compared to the Marvel and DC. I don't read a lot of superhero comics anymore, but I read a lot of freaking Image because those are the stories that, and some of it's the older I get, there's still great. There's great popcorn fiction out there, but the older I get, my time is precious.
Another thing that excites me, Devolver, the publisher of this game, there is almost a certain seal of approval that goes along with it. I mean, a lot of my favorite games that I've played in my life are from Devolver. One of them being The Messenger, published by Devolver.
Oh yeah,
Hotline
it is,
Miami,
isn't it?
Published by
Which
Devolver.
one?
Hotline Miami.
Oh, it is.
That's right.
There's a certain, what you're getting when you go to a Devolver game.
Them and Adult Swim games are the two I think of when it comes to really interesting ideas.
Yeah.
It's the punk rock. It's the punk rock Fat Wreck.
Yeah.
It's the Red Scare Records.
Right.
Where, these are record labels that if Red Scare puts something out, I'm going to check it out because it's Red Scare. And I know Toby over at Red Scare is putting stuff out that I like.
Yeah.
Fat Wreck, not as much anymore, but I'm going super.
Time and place.
I'm inside punk baseball here. But not saying that there was days of Eric dreaming that his records would be released on punk.
There's a wide swath of bands that Fat Wreck is a good example. Kind of what you're getting. Yeah,
because who's putting it out and like that, a situation like that. And I'm glad that those publishers like that for video games. Yeah. Because it's and they're vastly different games. Mm-hmm. I love Respawn. Everything Respawn's done, I've liked. Yeah. But 3 out of the 4 of their big releases are shooters. Right. It's Titanfall 1, 2, and Apex. Yeah. But then they did Fallen Order, which was completely different, but very good. Mm-hmm. I like these off-the-wall publishers who was like, here, check out Hotline Miami. Yeah. Check out The Messenger. Check out it's just... Because, I didn't even notice that connection was there. Yeah. And when you said it, I was like, man, that makes me more excited about this video game.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially as somebody playing The Messenger right now. So if we do anything, let's push some indie games. Let's push some small published games. Sure. Yeah, that's the punk rock in me, man. Still there all these years. Let's do some closing. Let's bring it home. All right. State of the Save. Get on there. Do some liking. Do some 5-star reviews. Push this thing. Tell your mom. Tell your brother. Tell your best friend. Tell your secret mistress that holds a light that keeps you from falling into a dark lake.
But in the end, has your back.
Has your back. Please do not let that be the message of this podcast. I got so much explaining to do when I get home. But really, I really appreciate everybody who's listening. We've had a really consistent listener base, and it's growing. It means a lot to us. We're not expecting to get rich off of this thing or anything, but it's an excuse at the end of the day to hang out and talk about some video games. But at the same time, I'm glad to see so many people are enjoying it. Yeah. Definitely listen to the next episode. Send in those emails to stateofsave@gmail.com. I really would love to read some of these on there. I think we would all have a good time with that. And, reviews on iTunes, I know that everybody and your brother is pushing you to write reviews and like and share and all this stuff.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. And, it's a necessity of indie anything, indie bands, indie podcasts, all that stuff. It's a necessity. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
I don't need your money. I need you to tell your friend. So tell your buddy, hey man, check out this podcast. They talk about video games, and it's a little bit, it's off the wall and a little bit fun. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming in and talking, man.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, and once again, y'all stay safe out there. We'll see you next time on State of the Set.